right? So another, the Texas land records I mentioned earlier. I'm running different searches. It's a free search for Hidalgo, Cameron, and several other counties. This is kind of hard to read, but that's Teodoro Davila is mentioned there. You'll see him right there. And paired with Teodora Cantú Sanchez. Antonio Cantú Sanchez, Tejano Legacy, Teodora Cantú Sanchez, a whole bunch of other Cantú Sanchez. And, okay, through this document, which this one's easier to read because it was worth me figuring out what every word said. And they were sisters that were inheriting Antonio Cantú Sanchez properties, belongings. Okay. And I couldn't really make out what this meant, but it says the children of. Well, the children of included Esteban Davila, Teodoro Davila, and Teodoro Cantú Sanchez. I didn't exactly know, but it included Esteban Davila. So he gets in there. And actually, by this time, in 1906, Esteban Davila has deceased. So now takes it farther than Esteban and closer to me, right? We're talking about, so we don't get off track here, the elements of how the tree display was able to be possible. Right? So here we go back, another section of the Tejano Legacy. A man named Pacifico Ochoa who was very active, according to the documents I run across in Hidalgo County, the lifting of Hidalgo County between 1850 and 1900. His name appears a lot. An old Tejano called Dr. Alonso Pacifico Ochoa. Poco de Agua, Abram, Texas. Everyone know Poco de Agua is Abram, Texas? Abram is right next to Penitas, next to Grande, all that area, which is close to the original settlement of Reynosa. Okay. Look what this man did. Antonio Cantú Sanchez was the administrator who was taking care of Santa Fe, collected payment for the salt and paid products to the government until the Americans came in 1846. There's a long history of people amassing wealth by being in the right place at the right time. Apparently that salt mine, but not mine, the salt lake, has been that for many centuries. So there's my ancestor, my brother of mine. Mentioned about the document, Antonio Cantú Sanchez has to have a will. It took me about 3 days on Google trying different things, and all of a sudden this comes up. The Clotilde Garcia papers, a well-known and respected medical doctor who became a pioneer researcher for us and wrote about Capitan Blas Maria de la Garza Pavón as the colonizer of South Texas, and oh my God, look at what this says. I have to include this information because I'm preparing to drive to Corpus. I'm ready. I have my gun with me. And wait, I am kidding when I say that. I don't want to get arrested when I'm leaving here. So I have my Star Trek. I'm in Star Trek mode, and I'm ready to get in the car and go to Corpus. And I said, wait a minute. That's why they gave me this telespot. Telespot. I'm going to call it. Within 5 minutes, I'm not exaggerating, within 5 minutes of me telling them what I was looking for, I handed my email. Is that great or what? How many of you have experienced that kind of, like, oh sure, just stand by. That's what happened. So, Star Trek mode was good and well. All right, so here we go.
One question, sir.
Yes?
Did you find, for example, El Tal del Rey and all those big ranches, those were the larger ranches, but the other little ranches that were named also?
In the Tejano Legacy? There, yes, and you know, let me show you some examples because they're even in Antonio Cantú's will. Now, here's the thing, and I didn't mention it during halftime. I'll bring up some documents that I want to share with you. If I have your email and a sign-in sheet, I will make sure that I will provide these documents if they're of interest to you, and I will tell you what they are. Yes, there are other mentions of ranches. And I think I have a couple of them here. Testamento de Don Antonio Cantú Sanchez. He is from, he's making his will in La Villa de Reynosa. He is a natural y vecino de esta villa, meaning Villa de Reynosa. He's hijo legítimo de matrimonio, the legitimate son of the marriage of Francisco Cantú Cavazos and María Sánchez R. Montemayor. What does R mean?
Rodriguez? No.
Yes. Rodriguez. The reason I bring it up because I said Rodriguez in some conversation. Well, how do you know? I said, well, I've done enough research and I'm very familiar with that combination. And that's not Rodriguez. Oh, no, you have to do more research. I said, well, it's going to start with Rodriguez. Difuntos naturales, el primero de esta villa, meaning Francisco Cantú Cavazos, and la segunda de Madero. Wow, this is like leaps and bounds. Now Esteban has led me to new ancestors. And these all play a very important part in developing my tree, because if not, I just have a shrub. So, here they are. I got one enfermo. Let me continue with this. Oh, and another part of this will, I thought you guys would appreciate this. Look at the people that owe money. Other than my own ancestry, I owe 290 pesos. Look at this guy. Abogado and his son. So, I guess being a collector at that, tax collector at that salt mine puts you in a good position of the wheel and deal. These guys are known renegades and revolutionaries and rebel rousers, right? They had books written about them, so that's okay. But, and I may have passed the other place that mentioned the ranches. I think they might still show up here. Look at this guy, a name many of you will recognize, Isidro Rongoni. Nazario Ochoa, residente de Chopunto. I don't know which Chopunto it is, but, oh, look at this, San Juanito, Texas. This is in 1870 something, San Juanito, Texas. Now, a lot of people, I believe, and I've seen other references having to do with San Juan, Texas, and I know they're referring to that same piece of land which they say, oh, that was named after John Klausner. You know what? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it had its origins in the settlers that came in to Reynosa. They're already referring to it in San Juanito, Texas. I can't say for sure. This document alone doesn't tell you that, but if you put all the others together, they're referring to that porción that's right there where San Juan is. All right. The new ancestors, the research, they're coming from the will of Antonio Cantú Sánchez, Francisco Cantú de Cavazos, and María Sánchez Rodríguez de Montemayor Moreno. I'm going into unknown territory for me. But I know enough that Reynosa records are hard to find. However, due to the wonderful researcher of Reynosa that developed, is that I found Isidoro Cantú. His parents were Francisco Cantú. No, it was just Francisco Cantú and Davila Sanchez. Okay, that's enough for me. That's the right couple, right? There's the source of my information. At the time, it was UTPA. Frank Bushman Pierce collection. Here's the marriage record. And I'll ask you guys to help me here. Here's Francisco Cantú, Doña María Sánchez, and it says, Padrino Don Francisco Cantú. Can it be the same person? Can the father also be a padrino de matrimonio? I don't know, but someone say you know, and I'll take that as the best information I've heard. Maybe it's possible. Anyway, this is the one I'm interested in, Francisco Cantú María. The date is 1808. Specifically, it is 9 de enero, H-E-N, with an O up here, that refers to enero. Right? So go and conclude and review, as they call it here. Isidro Cantú was married in 1808. I'm putting a timeline to know where to research for Francisco Cantú. I already know he's falling into that black hole in the galaxy where it says, like, hey, good luck, Reynosa, and those records. Backtrack, if he was married when he was 20, his birth was in 1788. At 25, he was born in 1783. 1788. Right? Makes sense? That's what I know about it. I'm still in exploration mode. I've come across the January 1828 census of Reynosa, and I find this wonderful name. I've never even heard of the name Agueda. What a beautiful name. I love that name. 52 years old, you know. That places her birth year, and this is somewhere close to accurate, about 1775. Okay, she was born in 1775. She didn't have Isidoro here or here. She was probably a baby, a 13 to 15-year-old in today's society. And again, extending it farther, I'm able to calculate their marriage maybe took place here. If he's the oldest, which I think he is, because any older, she'd have to be 10. And Francisco Pascual Cavazos, I narrowed it to be born between these years. All right? So I'm harvesting the information. The census is available. I know there's no birth records that I'm going to run into for Francisco Pascual Cavazos. So I'm going to look for some sign of him in the census. The Archivo General de la Nación has these records. I didn't actually look at the record that they have. I looked at manuscripts of people who compiled the census, including Guillermo Garland and other people who compiled the information. And I'm able to get the names. What am I going to be looking for here? And I chose Francisco. I'm looking for Francisco Pascual Cavazos. And the reason I chose him for this presentation is because that's where I applied my little method here. All right. So I get all of the Cantú males, anyone that's listed there in the census. I get all the Cantú males, and I'm going to get all the Cavazos females because he's Francisco Cantú Cavazos, right? So here's the males, and I have to include the guy at the top, Carlos Cantú. You'll recognize his name as Capitán Fundador de Javier de Reynosa. He happens to be married to a Cavazos. He's a candidate as a possible father. But it lists his children here. I'm looking, no, he's not there. So I extract all of them. And this is a feature that's coming out of my next publication. It's called Primeros Pobladores de Reynosa. I've had a lot of detours and delays, but it's coming. And what I'm featuring is that I'm making projections, I'm making tables, so you'll readily be able to see different things like this is in 1770s, people here are marriage candidates. You get a sense of when they were born and how they've been doing different things. All right? So here is some Cavazos ladies. Ana Antonia, Ana Francisca, Ana Josefa. Do you guys recognize Cavazos? I mean, if you have Cavazos, you have to have either him or his father Juan. That's his name, all right? And there he is. That's his father. He's also a settler there in Reynosa. So I'm still harvesting. There's another Cantú Cavazos coming in as a settler. I'm thinking at the time he's got to be the brother of Carlos. They're the same age. They're both married. They both have kids. All right. And I get another Nicolás here, 2 years old. 24, 1770, he's already a possible father to, what I'm looking for. That's a lot of information coming in. So, those are my ancestors shooting forward. So what do I have to do? I have to put it matrix. And that's my technique. I said, okay, I'm going to lay this out in such a way, and I'm going to go through the process, and I'm going to identify. I'm going to find Francisco Cantú Cavazos, because he's not at any baptism. Right? I'm not going to find that. I have to find out who his parents are. And so these are the sons of Carlos Cantú and Nicolás Cantú, and one. That's why there's two Nicolás up there. And then the sons of Juan Cavazos and the daughters, and the one daughter of I start cross-checking and I run the list. I find this guy's too young to marry any of those. This one married someone else completely. This one probably did too. I'm able to start eliminating people. And I'm narrowing the list here. I'm going to find my man. I don't care what it takes. Right? So that's my conclusion. Unfortunately, I struck out. Kind of, but not totally. I was able to eliminate every single one of that group. But remember back what I showed you earlier? I had this guy. If I knew it wasn't any of them, there was only of course there's always a possibility of someone else coming in at a different time, but I thought, once these people settle, they settle. I felt confident enough to list Nicolás Cantú and José Palacios as the father of José Francisco Palacios. Because of the process of elimination. It didn't work the way I intended to, but the result was the same. I got my man. Fortunately, I can't use DNA here, so fortunately, documents were later found to support this. And that was okay. Now I feel my method proved me, it did me a service here. And one of the things, here he is, here's his baptism. The thing that doesn't correspond is that this one says he's supposed to be from Reynosa. What I found, and maybe you found it too, that these people, some of them had dual citizenship. They would be living here in Las Villas del Norte, and they would be going back to, in this case, Hacienda de Santo Domingo de San Felipe. Okay? Santo Domingo is the original place where the Cavazos came into. Okay? The Cavazos being Francisco's mother. What's a good place for a mom to go have their kid? Back home to the safest possible place instead of the frontier town where the raids are taking place on a very frequent. Domingo, Hacienda de Santo Domingo. I think it's now San Nicolás.
De los Garza.
De los Garza. San Nicolás. Yeah, those two families were. Respect. Padrinos. Okay, no, I'm looking here. Okay, my point being that, and I found this true for other people. I found people that are supposed to be from here and they're being born in Monterrey, which is actually good.
And in no place did you ever get the information that all the Stanton family were all Italians?
Not from here, but yes, that has, and the Cavazos as well. The Cavazos as well.
Cantús?
Cantús, Cavazos, Chapa. There's one more, I can't come to my mind, but yeah, that's a good point. All right. The archives of Reynosa, they had these online, they took them down. It's pretty tricky, I don't know why, but I'm able to get this before they go down. And here's the Testamento de Nicolás Cantú. In it, he married Ana José Cavazos, originaria de la ciudad de Monterrey. Aquí están los hijos. It includes Nicolás Antonio, María Teresa, José Joaquín. Look at this. Kind of beauty or what? José Francisco. Yes, Matrix. Go team. It's got a couple a brother and a sister here, but there it is. That's the validation I was looking for. This is how I got there. I explored. I harvested those names. And then what am I doing? I'm trying to connect to the marriage investigation. If I reach Monterrey, which I just did, I've got a pretty good chance of making that connection, which leads to treaty. That's what we're going for here. All right. So let me go back before I continue. That, of course, I'm not showing you about Maria de Sanchez. Rodríguez de Montemayor, because that's not what happened. I did find her information. It was just as tricky with a lot of other things that happen. You all that do genealogy know how fun it is to be on the wrong track and all of a sudden see the light. That's so. I now have to get back to Teodoro. I know Teodoro. Davila might be from China, no one knows. And I'm using the obligatory coat of arms. That's what originally attracted me when my son was born, so I better find out where, God is. And as time went on, I just thought it was a beautiful graphic, and I'm not that attached to it as I once was, but still a very nice graphic. That's me, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, Estela, and the new information. All right. I had a major problem. You know what? I'm getting into the next section. You all want to take a small break? 5-minute break? I can tell you about this other stuff. All right. And now this is the next section. That's it. My technique was DNA. All right. So we'll take a small break and let's make it a short break, about 5 minutes enough. We'll need a chance to run to the bathroom.